Here we go.
How we doing? This is Craig from June's Pizza.
Like, how'd you get into this? What kind of restaurant experience you have, and like where are you working?
Is primarily in fine dining and fine dining. I've been all over San Francisco, Denver, Providence. Those are the cities I've been in. This is the first pizza venture. I've made pizza before, but I just figured I could do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you make pizza before in like a restaurant setting, or is it more just for fun?
No,
because it's like a whole new thing for me when I first got on a wood fire oven.
So the only pizza I've ever done prior to this is kind of unique. It's at a restaurant called Al Forno in Providence. That's an old restaurant. It's kind of an institution.
It's Rhode Island, right? Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, right.
Yeah.
They're listed in the Joy of Cooking as being the inventors of grilled pizza.
Okay.
Which is like, it's the joy of cooking, you know? It's like Escoffier, Joy of Cooking, and like it's super, that's a thing. But yeah, that was the only pizza I've ever done, just this like grilled pizza at Al Forno. But I think my qualification to make pizza, especially the way we do, is like being from the East Coast. There's a standard there.
Yeah, for sure.
That I had in my head, I had this image of like what I wanted it to be, you know, and it's this very like Connecticut, the southwestern section of Connecticut, these old Italian red sauce joints that are making like some of the first pizza in the country, and like, that's what I grew up eating, and I took it for granted, you know.
Yeah.
Being from Connecticut, there's no identity there. There's no sports teams.
Yeah.
There's no natural anything cool. There's no mountains. There's just like a lot of oak trees and stone walls. And that's it. But, you know, lo and behold, I spent enough time in California. I've been here like almost 9 years. I was bumming about the fact that I was like, I'm just trying to adopt other people's styles and cultures. But wait a second, pizza's dope where I'm from.
Yeah.
And it's like the culture is different. It's expected that it's all good. So I'm like, okay, I think I have something to contribute to the conversation here.
Right.
With pizza specifically, you know, just being where I'm from.
So have you been to Sally's and Frank Pepe's?
Yeah, that was like...
Do you draw inspiration from them, like with this?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. I think like when I get a Pepe's pizza, you open this thing up and it's like this super rustic pie. And this is like the first pizza ever made in America. That's like the sentiment I get.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that we do that's not from California is where we get our mozzarella from. We get the same stuff that Pepe's is using. It's made in East Haven, Connecticut. It's a lot of the spots that we used to hit growing up use. It's just this ultra, almost chalky, low moisture mozzarella. And I was like, that's the one thing I need to have. Everything else comes from the farms around here. Flowers, mills, and Petaluma, you know. But yeah, that cheese was the one thing. It's like, that's something I want to express.
Awesome.
If we're talking about nostalgia, like that is the shit. I remember.
That's what does it.
Yeah, it's just, there was
See, that's the hard part, because like eventually I want to make a restaurant out of this idea of nostalgia, and it's like, how do you actually translate your nostalgia to other people so that they get it, and that they then create their own memories, but based off of, you know, other people's memories. It's a big loophole to kind of figure out, but it's little things like that, like the brand of cheese and all that stuff. All of it makes a difference.
But it also brings into question how are you sourcing? You know, right now it's like you're gonna get crucified if you're not sourcing locally. Everything. It's like, and like our level of restaurants, we're used to it. So it's like, how can you bring in nostalgia from people from all over the country or the world and make it all local? You can, but there are certain things. It's like I gotta get like this brand of something that you can only get in this area, or like if you're from like Rhode Island, it's like we need soupy sausage. That's a type of sausage that's just from westerly Rhode Island, you know,
right.
or that has nothing to do with California. But
Yeah.
if you're trying to execute this like nostalgia thing, it's like, okay, there's compromises that can be made.
Right.
So,
Everything makes a difference.
Yeah. 11 gets mixed every day. I'm just gonna walk in front of you. Starter gets fed twice a day.
Twice a day.
We just keep it warm.
Every day?
Every day I just feed it. I just fed it, so it's not, it's got a little tang. Oh, sorry. It's got a little, you're starting to smell that like kind of pungent vinegariness, but
yeah,
this thing, it'll like, when it's really warm out especially, it'll knock you on your ass.
You even got the preserve section in here too.
Oh yeah, that's our mini larder. We have there's this huge dehydrator at the other end of the yard that is there, so just anything that's left over, we try and like
an industrial dehydrator?
Yeah. Yeah. This is our shipping container. We started June's Pizza for $23,000.
Wow.
All included. Our first day, I was overdrafted both my accounts by like a couple $100, but like,
wow.
that was it. So the idea was like, how can you start something with as minimal investment as possible? And
this is
a
it.
Shipping container.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just acquired the container because it was here. It was just full of garbage basically. Cleared it out, put down heat welded vinyl on the floors, painted the ceilings, insulated this, painted the walls, insulated the ceilings.
Did you do this yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. This floor is nice. This is like,
it cleans really well.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. And it was kind of the least expensive option, but it's been kicking some ass.
right. Oh, you got the drain over there to go right into?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that was another thing. We
Yeah.
like had to pull a permit, and we cut a trench and tapped into the sewer main. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
But then put in the 3-bay sink.
Should we go check out the oven? See what's going on with it?
Yeah.
A little bit of background on the oven, how it got here.
Yep. Did some months and months of research. I knew I wanted to make like Neapolitan style pizzas that were as big as a New York pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, wood fire, I need the biggest oven we could possibly find.
Yeah.
And that was this one. It's made by a company called Mugnaini. They're up in Healdsburg, which is an hour north of here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it made. Basically these cast concrete sections that were on the stand, and we got it here in that condition, and we insulated it and stuccoed it ourselves. Put the chimney up.
What kind of wood are you using?
Almond wood.
Almond wood. Is that from a local guy too?
Bare Bottom Farms
Bare
in
Bottom.
Richmond, it's like 20 minutes north of
Yeah.
here.
That's where we get our wood from.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Lazy Bear and Bare Bottom just, it works out.
Yeah. Totally.
Can I get an inside shot of what's going on in here?
Yeah, sure. It's so we drag the coals. So I have a little loaf of bread here that
nice.
A little dough I was baking off for bread. But we drag the coals across the floor at the end of every service to just evenly heat the floor. So that's why it's a big pile of ash in there now. Before we fire it, clear it out, mop it, start a little Lincoln log stack in there, just charge this thing up all morning, all day.
What's the temperature you're going for in there?
We run it at usually around 650 to 700.
Okay.
It's not as hot as a Neapolitan. We need a slower bake.
Right, it's bigger. Yeah. What size balls? What do they end up being? Like, what's the
720 grams? So it's like 2 fists basically.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
They're pretty big. So the special this week is a wild mushroom pizza with shaved black truffles that we're getting from King of Mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Who just distributes awesome fungus across the bay. Right now, I think they're hurting a little bit because every restaurant is closed who's buying like high-end mushrooms. But
so it's a struggle.
It's cool to be able to buy from them. But these are yellowfoot chanterelles. These are foraged. I think the town's called Del Nor. It's about an hour north of Humboldt.
Yeah, stems on those are crazy compared to regular chanterelles.
Yeah. No, these are incredible.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the special this week is doused with those. We make an effort to just shop from local farms only. Honestly, I could save for all these socio-political reasons or moral reasons, or it is good to help the community. All this is true, but bottom line, it's just the best.
Yeah.
And we happen to
things are going to taste the best from around the corner.
But yeah, so we have some arugula from full belly farm. This really beautiful red Mizuna, which is just like my favorite.
That's gorgeous.
So we,
Yep.
We finished after the pizza comes out of the oven. We put just some leaves on top of it, dust it with fresh truffles, and a really generous portion of pecorino and ground. Well, if you're interviewing chefs for this podcast, you're gonna have to spend time like delineating between nostalgia and like post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Because nostalgia is like the glory word, the good word, and then there's definitely another side to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff's great though. It's gorgeous.
It's awesome.
Because I'm sure you get some people that, you know, the basil's on the side is like, why is all this basil on the side of my pizza?
Well, it's simple. Like, we want to keep it fresh. I like basil that's cooked into pies, but I also I just want to have fresh basil, and when we put it on top of the pizza, it wilts extremely quickly. If we leave it in the side, it stays fresh.
Right.
So that kind of spurred some ideas of like, there is so much unused real estate in the pizza box. These corners are just vacant.
Yeah.
Like, so we started filling them with like mounds of Parmesan cheese for people to like, there's a sandwich between their crust at the end and cheesy bread, or you can just, if you want more cheese, it's there. You know, like we ran a pizza with a little bouquet of roasted Chioggia beets in the corner of the box. And it's just like this extra little thing that would just be like a nice thing to enjoy.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're just trying to like use what we got for a takeout business. Like how sweet can it be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, to try to reinvent things even a little bit in the pizza game is a hard thing to do because people have their mind set.
I mean, if we're talking about nostalgia, I always have this old school East Coaster in the back of my head.
Yeah.
It's like, why
just make pizza.
Don't make it weird.
Yeah.
You know, just make pizza.
Well, I mean, you have the unweird pizza and then you have your pizza, and I think both are delicious.
Yeah.
So I think you get the best of both worlds with what you do. What's your go-to food story that you usually tell people? Like best, like the bite that instantly transported you to somewhere else.
Go-to, I mean,
if someone would ever ask you that question.
There's a couple things.
One,
the best meals I've ever had in my life have either been cooked with myself in collaboration with a friend or a family, or just by immediate family. I love eating at restaurants, but it's always the best meals of my life are outside of restaurants. Always. You know, my mom's quote unquote tortellini and brodo growing up. It was just like once a week it was tortellini soup, and she was just unloading chicken broth, cream and mushroom, and then tortellinis into it. And I think she might have thrown some rosemary, and that's it. That's like,
that does it.
There was like,
that sounds like a good pizza.
I just remember like just watching The Simpsons, waiting for dinner time to hit.
Right.
I smell like rosemary from that cream of mushroom soup, and I'm just like, it's tortellini soup night. Like,
It's like, have you had things that you've eaten that have like made you go back to that moment?
Sure.
So like rosemary, you said, is like every time you smell rosemary, is it kind of always ticking in the back of your head?
Yeah.
Like that was the origin of that smell.
I do it with my brother a lot because he had the same tortellini soup and he had the same pizza with grandma, and it's like, that's what's nice about having a sibling, is you have someone to bounce it off of. So I'll look at my brother Rob and just be like, yeah, that was just like grandma's pizza.
Yeah.
Like, what's in it? Probably the cheap tomato paste she put in her tomato sauce at the time. Like, we'll eat something like that and like, God, it tastes like grandma's pizza.
Yeah.
I staged in kitchens all over San Francisco, and I remember I was in Flour and Water's kitchen, and I watched them plate a pasta dish and just grate with a microplane this egregious amount of Parmesan over it, covering completely this pasta dish. And I've never seen such an audacious act before, and I was just like, that is sick. And it never left my brain, so when it came time to grate cheese on our pizza, I was like, I would like to do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, I want grotesque amounts of things.
Yeah.
It's a bold move, strong move. We don't want to offer a lot of choices because we want to, it's a message to the world. It's like we're specializing.
Yeah.
Right? We do one thing really well. Like a barbecue spot in Texas, they do one brisket. It's the best brisket you can get, and that's where you go to get brisket. And like, that's what we want to be, and offering what you think think the public wants a million things, like they don't.
Right.
Agriculture that happens on the yard is the result of O2, which is the name of this whole yard here. It's like a city block in West Oakland. And the vision of Paul Disco, who owns all of this, he just wants, out of principle alone, and almost as an art piece, whether it makes money or not, he wants things to be growing here. So we've been able to kind of reap the benefits of that and have like beautiful greens and herbs growing right next to us. It's like tatsoi. It's not bok choy. And then green garlic. This is going to be for the CSA. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
This herb garden we pick from. The oregano is definitely looking sad, and so is the sage.
Yeah.
But when it's good, we pick
It's January.
Yeah, we just like, if herbs are growing, we pick them and dehydrate them, and we just have like sweet herb mixes happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, if we can just stack our larder with like great mixes of dehydrated parsley, marjoram, and sage,
right,
like that's great to just have like on lock.
Yeah.
Special.
It's weird because being in New York, growing up in New York, it's like there's nothing to eat from October to March from the market.
Yeah.
And then being here, it's like the chefs kind of feel the same way, but there's so much stuff at the market.
Right.
It's like the same stuff every year. It's not as exciting as the summer, but at least there's things.
There's things.
There's things at the market.
Yeah, I think the Ashby market closes for like a week.
Yeah.
For Christmas, and that's it.
Yeah. A good shot of the sunset here.
Yeah. So the plan is to grow. We want to open for lunch, and I want to just serve a square meal for $10. So 2 slices and just a big, beautiful salad of greens that we're growing here.
Yeah.
So this will become that. Seeds were planted already. Again, that's O2 with Mel's work, and we're just working with them right now. So it's an aquaponics system.
Oh, okay. Okay. It looks big on the outside.
Yeah. So there's fish swimming in these tanks. Right? And
Sweet.
The water gets fertilized.
Yeah.
And circulates through these beds. Which grow.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This whole thing's going to be basil.
Yeah. We go through a lot of basil.
Yeah.
But it's, and we're just going to keep working together. They also do some plant starts here too that they sell.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is.
It sounds great in here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's very peaceful.
11. You know, once it floats in water, it's ready to go. I like to let it get really ripe and because I want that flavor in the dough. So I take it even past the floating point. I'll get it to the point where it's floating, and I'll let it sit for a few more hours till I really get that acidity, that acidic smell. But yeah, we're just gonna mix a batch. You know, we've been selling 40 pies. We sell a few slices, and then there's a few left over to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Ripping holes in pizzas is a reality.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't really take that back.
Yeah.
You can try.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing about pizza that's different is you're committed.
Yeah.
Like everything. There's this critical point where there's no going back. If you put a topped pizza in the oven, and there's something wrong with it, the whole pizza has to get tossed.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you ruin your oven if there's a hole in it.
Right. But if you're doing plated food in a restaurant.
Yeah,
you overcooked your asparagus, but the rest of it just give me some new asparagus. It's get this plate out of here. But then it's like, oh, then you gotta start the process with pizza. You gotta start the process back from zero. So yeah. But then it starts here. Like if I do something wrong here, like if our dough sits out, because we ferment our dough for 24 hours, but if I let it overproof or something, it's gonna be really weak, and that gluten structure will be disintegrated. We won't be able to stretch it out properly. So having good pizza the day of starts the day before. If we got to think about making a pizza over a 2-day span, it's like there's a lot of variables that happen in 2 days. If it's warm outside, if it's raining, you know, if there's sun beating directly on our reach-in or something, is our dough gonna overproof?
Yeah.
So my goal right now as a chef is trying to mitigate variables. So we used to mix our dough, then portion it, and then store our portion dough that way. And it was those dough balls every morning. I'd be so scared about it.
Yeah.
What did it do last night? So now we mix, we bulk ferment overnight, portion it as we need it. You know, so we portion in the morning, use it in the afternoon. But,
right.
Yeah, so it's just less time as an individual ball, so it's a little more
easier to work with.
Yeah, we have an insurance plan.
Yeah. So you said the flour was from where?
Central Milling.
Okay.
They're up in Petaluma, so it's local California wheat. We use a flour called Type 85. It's just 100% Type 85.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted it to.
That's just a variety of grain.
What it is, it's 75% white, 25% whole wheat.
Okay.
And it has the flecks of the bran and the germ in it. You can see it.
Yeah.
So it eats like in a really unique way. We can get this crispy outside and this chewy inside of the crust, and you get a crispy bottom. But it has this kind of personality, this California personality to it. It's a little hippie.
Yeah.
You know, it's got some whole wheat in it. It's got some flecks of shit in it.
That's what we were noticing. We were trying to figure that out the other night. I was like, what kind of... This tastes like whole wheat bread, but in a completely different,
and it's
different way.
Naturally leavened, so you have that sourdough element to it too. And I just think it's a kind of a more dynamic pizza crust. But we're always trying to triangulate between what I know from growing up in Connecticut, Italy, like stylistically, the ingredients in California. So we always want to hit those with every pizza that we make. So the California is how we're sourcing our ingredients, but also, that crust, it has a little whole wheat in it.
So I had another question. I've been curious about this. If you could, because like I have a basic understanding of it, but I'm wondering if you can explain like the hydration process when people are making pizza. Yeah. And like bread in general. Just like overall, what's the deal with when people say like 66% hydration? Right. What are they actually referring to?
It's I'm gonna do my best here. I'm a new bread maker.
Ballpark.
Yeah. But hydration is just referring to the percentage of wet things you have in your dough. So it's how much the percentage of water to the total weight of every ingredient in your dough recipe. If you got olive oil in your dough, that goes into the hydration percentage. We don't. So we have a 67% hydration, depending on where you go. Some like that's really wet. Some people think it's dry. I don't know. Like all these San Francisco sourdoughs, like Tartine or Josie Baker, they have incredibly hydrated dough. They'll hit like 90% hydration, something like that. Like so, when they're working these doughs, it's like porridge. So they're soupy, and you have a wet hand to handle them so that your hands don't stick, and you're just. It's like this is like you'd be working. Your bread dough like this, and I think that's why it's to make these beautiful sourdough loaves that get made in San Francisco is truly an art. It's not easy to work with. Before we opened, so
you mix the levain with warm water.
Yeah, warm water, and I'm just breaking it up right now. Add flour, and we mix it. We let that sit for half an hour to relax. It's called an autolyse.
Yeah.
This is the term for that. And then we mix in our salt, and then it comes out and just hangs out over for 24 hours, just bulk fermenting. Then we portion it.
It'll be balls in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah, it gets balls before. Yeah, in the morning, around 10 in the morning. And
good to go from there.
Familiar with Type 85?
I'm not. No.
It's cool stuff. I mean, you can see in there. You
little grains.
See the flecks of the bran and the germ.
Cool. Yeah, because we noticed that, and we thought it was whole wheat, but we didn't know for sure. So it's 25% whole wheat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. You can definitely tell, and it's like totally unique.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So you do semolina the peels before they
they
go in.
That's just. We just want little ball bearings
to
slide the pizza into the oven with.
Yeah. And that's basically it? That's all the mixing that's really required? Or?
That's it, yeah. We do this step. We let it sit for half an hour, mix the salt in for another 2 minutes, and that's it.
Cool.
It's interesting. I feel like if any bread bakers watch this, they're gonna be like, this guy doesn't know shit. But what we've learned is with this dough, I don't know about all doughs, but the more we mix it, the more brittle, if you will, our dough gets, and the more prone to tearing holes in it gets. So we basically want to mix it just enough to establish that gluten network. Stop. And I think about it like, you know, if you mix something and the gluten's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, it's like
eventually gonna snap.
And you just snap a hole in it.
That smells. It smells like your pizza tasted.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Totally. Yeah, I think like even so we'll pull this out in the morning. And it smells like birthday cakes.
Yeah.
And then after the dough balls get made, they're sitting in the dough boxes. Like I'm like, this smells like Strauss yogurt.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's cool though. It's totally unique.
Yeah, it's like
that's wet.
Our dough.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just what we know, you know.
Cool.